newest conspiracy.
Dummy. Conspiracy dummy.
Welcome to Conspiracy Dummy, the conspiracy podcast that brainwashes itself. I am your host, Double D. Joining me on the podcast, the man of mystery, Mr. Williams. What's up?
What's up? What's up? Glad to be here.
Hell yeah. Also, joining me on the podcast and on the phone, the homie who made the theme song to Conspiracy Dummy, Joel Shaw.
Up, bro?
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Let's get this shit going. MK Ultra, and I'm not talking about the strand, not the good. I'm talking about that shit. That shit that they be putting into your fucking head. MK Ultra, man, was a human research program that was ran by the CIA's Scientific Intelligence Division in the 1950s and 60s, experimenting on humans with and without their consent, here in America and in Canada. The project came from the communist claims during the Korean War that U.S. POWs in North Korea were being brainwashed to catch feelings for communism. Can you believe that shit?
That's crazy. That's crazy, dude.
All right, yeah.
Hey, you forgot to mention it's like a continuation of like what the Nazis did as far as dissecting.
Oh no, we'll get there, man. We'll get there.
Yeah,
that
like,
shit's gonna come, man.
that's
we're
the
building.
important part.
The Z-Nazis? Yeah, and the MK Ultra project was headed by the CIA chemist Sidney Gottlieb, a.k.a. the Black Sorcerer, known to mixing up the medicine, preparing lethal dosages of poison. Also, the head director of the CIA, Richard Helms, were all involved at this time. MK Ultra sought to believe mind-controlled drugs to counter communist brainwashing. They also wanted to be able to program individuals to carry secrets which they were unaware until woken. So like a trigger word will like set them off. Similar to like Marvel with the Bucky character, just a set of words, boom, go get the guy. He's assassinated. The participants were not really fully aware or they didn't even have any knowledge at all what they were being subjected to. They were using drugs such as LSD, using hypnosis, sensory deprivation, torture, sexual and verbal abuse, enforced isolation. See, MK Ultra was more known for controlling people through the use of psychedelics, try to brainwash them. The precursors to MK Ultra were Project Artichoke and Project Bluebird. These two precursors were also evolved from Operation Paperclip. In 1945, the Allied program to recruit the Nazi scientists after Germany defeated its World War II. As the Cold War froze harder in the 1950s, the U.S. intelligence community feared communists used the mind control for subversion and espionage and embarked on MK Ultra as a countermeasure. So they were going freaking deep in this shit, man.
Yeah, but some people consented, right? Like they were willing to like participate.
Yeah, sometimes they trick people into like telling them that it was for like just research, and a lot of people were involved, like colleges and hospitals too, I believe.
You gotta think about it, in that era, everybody was super paranoid in the CIA. They were afraid of fucking commies. Like what the fuck, like that's the main reason why they had that motivation to just like find these operatives and turn them somehow, mind fuck them, and man, the lengths that they went to, bro, they were really scared. Fear is a big motivator.
I think you've got a great point that kind of it all, really came to a head in that kind of era you're talking about. But, with a truth serum, so to speak, I'm sure that goes a long way back. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, back in the day of alchemy, if they were trying to put metals together to create some truth serum, to make that, captured person come in and talk about it and whatnot, because the Nazis were super into like looking into like old, like the whole like Indiana Jones shit's real. Like the Nazis actually had a division of people that would go and search for old relics that would have, maybe some spiritual power that they could use to, fucking beat the Americans and stuff. So for me, dude, MK Ultra, I think it goes way deeper than what we really think.
Yeah, like the extreme measures it had to go to, for example, like tracking down these Nazi like scientists and finding certain vivisections. That's like a label for like people that like dissect species that are alive, and a lot of people consider it torture, by the way. So like they were able to go to extreme lengths like that, like trying to fucking figure out what they could do to the human body biologically to like just make them comply. Anything to make them comply, right? Like every aspect they were trying to cover. And there's like over 125, I guess, projects that they had under them.
Well, yeah, like the precursor to MK Ultra was Project Artichoke. And I believe the precursor to that was Project Bluebird. Project Bluebird was more of a hypnosis, I believe, trying to get information out of people.
Like a psychological aspect?
Yeah, just try to just basically get information out of prisoners of war.
Because they would use like multiple types, right? They would use anything from like drugs to mental abuse to hypnosis to torture. I mean, I've heard they've used any number of types of ways they would, use to brainwash you, so to speak. Is that right?
Correct, yes. And after that, Project Artichoke was more of programming people with trigger words to carry on assassinations for people, to do biddings for other people, for whoever.
So you're telling me like somebody would be in the random crowd and somebody would just shout, "Giant cock!" and then they would pull out a gun and shoot the fuck out of somebody.
Oh, yeah, for real. Yes.
He fucking be a suicide bomber and not give a fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild, bro. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, look at all like mainstream media that portrays all these incidents with like the Manchurian Candidate. That's one that comes to mind.
That's what Project Artichoke and MK Ultra. MK Ultra is really the use of like psychedelics like LSD to brainwash people, to like erase their memories and to program memories and to get them to do, like I said, their bidding and stuff.
Well, they always have these goofy fucking names. I mean, Operation Paperclip, Operation Northwoods, Operation Bluebird. I mean,
well, that's also
they were always meant to be cryptic in a way, kind of like even MK Ultra.
I don't know, dude. I just I just see a bunch of nerds with glasses and pocket protectors. I mean, I don't think they're gonna come up with like some dope fucking operation name like Dragonfire. It's always fucking Paperclip or Yo-Yo, just something dumb as fuck. I don't know though. MK Ultra is actually kind of
that's a pretty dope name.
Badass. I won't lie. I might name my first kid MK Ultra.
Hey, so who's suspected of being like drugged besides like Charles Manson? I know that's one that comes to mind.
Allegedly, Charles Manson.
Yeah, allegedly, yeah.
Yeah. And, also like what's his name? Whitey Bulger. Whitey Bulger too.
I think honestly, isn't the biggest one the
Ted Kaczynski,
the Unabomber?
The Unabomber, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Because he was a Harvard professor. He went to some stout Ivy League school, Harvard, Yale, one of the two, and he was a professor or some shit. I just know the little tidbits, but I forgot.
Well, just wait. I'm sorry. You got to keep in mind that these operatives were in universities. They were in like in industry. They were planted in many facets of society. So that it's odd that you mentioned that you worked as a professor. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, well, I don't know what kind of field he worked in or what subject he taught, and for all I know, it could have been chemistry.
I think he was a mathematician. I don't remember correctly.
Okay,
yeah, he was.
I know he was a big case. Of course, Charles Manson. There's a lot, but obviously, there's the famous top three, but there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of MK Ultra cases. I don't know if you know this, bro, but they say that a lot of, I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush here, but a certain amount of mental institution patients could be MK Ultra patients gone wrong. What I mean is maybe they were given too much LSD and they just fried their brain, or whatever happened. That's That's very, very possible, because I know there's a correlation when there was a alleged expansion in the project and also a boom in the mental institution as well in the 80s.
Yeah, there were perfect test subjects that like what I read, they would target people that weren't able to fight back. So obviously, like, it makes sense. Like, mental institutions, they would have test subjects like that, right?
Yeah, man. They studied on a lot of people, like junkies out on the street. They ended up doing testing on prostitutes and started working with prostitutes.
I'm just guessing that they were just trying to see the results of like the effects of drugs, and they would just like jot it down and try to figure out how to like make people confess and do their bidding. Fuck.
Out of MK Ultra, you had Midnight Climax, which the CIA and the like prostitutes from San Francisco had this safe house, and they would drug these guys, these Johns, and then they had like this two-way mirror, which like the CIA agent will be on the other side,
and they'd watch them fuck. But a lot of times sometimes they'd just be getting their rocks off. There's speculation that sometimes some of these people that were making these that were just creepos getting their rocks off, but there are actual documents that they have used prostitutes to drug Johns as patients.
So it was like a whole pimp and hoe operation, bro. Pimps being the CIA and the hoes being the hoes.
Pimps up, hoes down, bitch.
And also, man, there was a lot of people that were affected by this shit. A lot of people got fucked up and stayed fucked up. This one dude, Frank.
Some people committed suicide.
Yeah, well, allegedly committed suicide. Frank Olson.
Yeah.
He took the drug. They dosed him up at some party a week before he fucking died. He allegedly jumped out of it. There was like a suicide, or he jumped. Who knows? Some foul play probably happened, bro. Years later, they did like an investigation and found that there was like some probably wrongdoing, that he was hit. So I don't know. He could
supposedly the backstory was that they caused him to have deep depression.
Yeah, but later that the family was like given money by President Ford, like $750,000 for all that. So hey man, so let me ask you guys ever done LSD?
I did it.
I've done psilocybin, like mushrooms and shit like that. That's about it. And I saw that drug mentioned on that article about how they use that as well. But even weed. Think about like Pineapple Express, the intro. Like they were just testing anything to see how it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of hybrids, man. Fucking weed today is not like weed in the fucking 60s and 70s. This shit's fucking crazy.
Nah. I've only taken acid one time, and I did it with my ex, and she thought it'd be a great idea to make muffins at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we go into Walmart. I'm fucking on 2 tabs of acid, and she's zanned out of her mind. And everybody that I'm walking around, I feel like they're just penetrating me with their eyeballs, and they know I'm all fucked up. The towels are breathing. Everything's all wickety-wonkety. I've only done it once, and it definitely wasn't a good experience, to say the least. But I'm not necessarily opposed to hallucinogens, but I can understand with what little knowledge I have of them, how they can use those in abundant amounts to manipulate, your thought process.
Well, I've done acid, man. I guess you can be influenced and.
Oh, for sure, dude. If you're
somebody's
on a hard
fucking with
acid
you,
trip,
like tripping
dude,
with you like that, yeah, I guess.
And especially if you're tied down to a chair and you're forced to watch some bullshit propaganda, however they brainwash you, fuck
like,
yeah.
Fucking Clockwork Orange and shit.
Shit, I wouldn't doubt it, man.
That shit's, I don't know, man.
Fuck yeah, they'll hold your eyes open. Fuck it.
And then sometimes they would do it for days on end to some test subjects.
And that's the other thing I wanted to get to, Joel. I want to ask you, what do you think is the highest used form of MK Ultra? Like, did they use drugs or torture or hypnosis?
I'm assuming they would like just profile you. Some people are just have a stronger will than others, right? So just profile you a little bit and figure you out and do a psych evaluation, and just from there you could get really evil, really dark. But like, I'm fascinated with, the fact that they just had to like scramble people's brains, like, they just figure, electric shock therapy. That's wow. It's like reprogramming people, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, they were
I don't
using.
know, but it was negative results regardless, right?
Oh yeah. Electric shock therapy, sensor deprivation, isolation,
Sexual abuse, verbal abuse, all
verbal
that,
abuse,
all that.
Was
Yeah.
S&M.
I mean, when you think about it, torture, I guess, would be a great form because that's what they would do with POWs. And, back when the Iraq War was at the height of its, media coverage, they were talking about torture and waterboarding and this and that, and how it was cruel and inhumane. But they would use that to extract information from insurgents or just, fucking bad people and shit. So I can absolutely see them using that now and up to today.
Like speaking from like stories that I've heard from Iraq soldiers, it's sometimes you're on the go and you need to, extreme times call for extreme measures. I've had soldiers tell me that they'll separate like a family, get the head of the household, go around the tank, and just like have like a mock death, like mock killing. Like they'll shoot the ground and then they'll muzzle up like the person, and well, the family will get frightened. And like basically, the person that was telling me the story was like, we were trying to find a cache of guns, and we found them. So I don't care what people say, how it's wrong or this and that. Like we need to do these things to find these weapons and to and do our job. And I was just like, wow, like the extreme measures that I had to go to, that was he told me it was on the go. We couldn't just take someone to a building. We had to grab someone, do a mock killing, and get information. Like what? Like it felt like a movie scene.
Some of those scenes I'm sure have a grain of truth. You know what I mean? I feel like those would be derived and have a small part in reality. I could absolutely see them doing something of that nature to extract information from somebody. You see that typical scene in the movies where somebody's getting beaten up and tortured and they're asking them all the questions under the spotlight, all tied up in a chair and shit. But, I mean, if you really want to get somebody to talk, that's a good fucking way to get them to talk, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and it worked. He told me it worked. We found the weapons. It was just like, wow. But, yeah, just takes ingenuity to get information out of people. But now there's more laws that prevent that,
Well, it's crazy. Yeah, I do agree with some of those, but I don't know. It just depends.
Right on the circumstance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, a lot of people's lives are on the line. You got to think the CIA does. That's what their job is, to figure out attacks against our country or around the world, our interests. But
let me ask you this. Do you think social media can be viewed as a way of being MK Ultra? Just think about
just one simple thing. Think about like the power of suggestion. Think about how really powerful suggesting certain things, even if they're negative or positive. But now people are more susceptible to misinformation because like it's in the interest of keeping the public dumb in the dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So people have to really do their due diligence and look between the lines a little bit. But I feel like it could be used as a tool. I mean, it has. Look at ISIS, how they recruit online and all that.
No, for sure. What I'm saying is, like, if you break it down, MK Ultra is basically a form of brainwashing you, to kind of fill you with propaganda.
Yeah.
Social media is so divisive, especially politically, on how it divides people, and all you see is arguing and negativity. And if you boil it down in layman's terms, I think that would necessarily could be viewed as being possibly an MK Ultra. You know what I mean? I mean, they're kind of manipulating your mind and with these algorithms and pushing, a certain narrative that either triggers you or, whatever you're influenced by, and they push that your way. So you're constantly,
like, for example, you said some keywords that I noticed there. Brainwash. What's brainwash to you? What really is it? Is it subliminal messages? Is it like the way you dress, the music you listen to, all that shit? It influences. We have, in these times, we labeled that already, influencers, But yeah, brainwash is really prevalent. As far as bullying, look at how many people get bullied online. Yeah, you could bully people into doing what you want them to do.
Joel, you just blew my mind right now, and you don't even know, dude.
So social media affects us in so many ways, bro. Like our mental health.
What about blackmailing someone for their pictures?
That and democracy. It's affecting that. It's like persuading people to fucking become tribal, and it's discriminating and shit here in our neighborhood.
Do you feel that's kind of bullyish? In a way, kind of forcing you in a corner? Yeah. It's us or them kind of thing? I noticed you, Dan, you don't really like that. It's us or them.
I'm an outsider, bro. I'm a lone wolf.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Fuck them all. Hey, so, MK Ultra ended in the 1970s, but did it really?
No.
Did it really end?
Well, supposedly...
Well, that's what I was saying.
They were declassified and they were shut down and they were prosecuted for that, right?
Yeah, man. Right after that ended, bro, Bush Sr. became the head of CIA. So whatever they fucking cancel that shit, but who knows what they fucking continued.
Yeah, just look at Born Identity.
Yeah.
That's how I would picture that, you know?
Or naked.
A 2.0 version of MK Ultra.
Well, that to be honest with you, that completely ties into exactly what I was just going to get on, okay? So that's exactly what I was talking about. It definitely is influence now. So MK Ultra, right. MK Ultra doesn't have to necessarily be, somebody being strapped to a chair and force-fed acid, and forced to watch or listen to Baby Shark for hours on end, which apparently inmates were in Florida, but that's neither here nor there. So now I think the form of MK Ultra is what I just expressed with social media, man. They have these algorithms and they push what narrative triggers you or pisses you off, for whoever the fuck wants to do it. And I think, Joel, I really think you blew my mind, man, when you said they were influencers and they use that term influencers. Dude, Joel, I don't know if you've ever heard of black sigil magic, and what these elitists do is they put these small little clues right under our noses, right? Whether it's little pedophilic signs or the terms that we might not really think of, influencers, things like this, to kind of avoid any negative karma blowback in the afterlife, dude. I don't know if you necessarily subscribe to that, but it's so...
Yeah, let me touch on that a little bit. Well, I'm a big proponent, for I guess, psychology and how the human mind works, right? So naturally, I levitate towards, psychological warfare, dark arts type of stuff. And I read that. I have material on that. So what you mentioned earlier as far as, symbolism and illusions, right? We've seen that in Da Vinci, how he hides images within images, right?
The dark arts.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Even in our reality, sometimes there could be, we call it smoke screens, smoke and mirrors, or cloak and daggers. We have terms already for this, by the way, So, nothing is what it seems. So, look at magicians, sleight of hand, they could hide stuff. It's so easy to make people believe something if you know how the setting is and how you could prepare to just use illusions to fuck with people's heads. You could lie, you could be deceiving. There's so many ways of doing it. These days you gotta be prevalent to that people that know about shadow talk and shadow walking.
Dude, when you talk about magician, magic and shit, there was this magician, John Muhammad, who wrote the manual of deception, and he taught that shit to the CIA agents. How to misdirect your attention.
Yeah, misdirection. It's a big thing right now, as a matter of fact. Hackers are using social engineering to misdirect you and get information from you. It's called social engineering. It's a way of manipulating you and getting information from you. And we're starting to see that now. And I guess when it comes to cyber war, where they don't need to break into your system. They could just talk you out of it.
Oh, I think we're seeing the effects of it now, bro. It's not just something that just happened overnight. This shit is developing. It's gonna get worse.
And it's just the public is getting a hold of it, and you know how that is. Once the public gets a hold of something, it becomes prevalent, basically.
Yeah. So let's go take some acid.
Bro, I'm a big pussy when it comes to that. I don't know about all that, bro. I don't know about that. I want to be in this reality. I don't want to fucking wander off.
Shit, man. Well, I don't know, dude. It's so funny. I've always had the perception that most hallucinogens are like that, but from my experience, really the only thing that quote unquote separates you from reality is really DMT. You know, when I take acid or mushrooms, you know I'm sitting on a couch, like at a friend's, like I understand my surroundings. Bro, when you fucking smoke some legit DMT, you're separated from fucking reality. I mean, there's fractals and, energy beings and entities, speaking, hymns to you. It's gnarly, dude.
Like your senses are just like cross-wired somehow.
Oh, dude, your wires are all cross-faded. It's fucking crazy way. Hey, let's get into some current fucking conspiracies, dude.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Round 1. Trump versus Biden. Fight.
Oh, shit.
What do you think? Who's the victor in that debate, bro? Who do you think?
I don't know, man. It's the first one. It's hard to say. I mean, they were just fucking spitting back and forth. Dude, you know me, man. I don't
even take debates serious. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't lean one way or the fucking other on the deal. I mean, I think it's all political theater. I won't lie. I think it was honestly a bad look for Trump to kind of keep speaking. I think if he had more of a,
he was the aggressor.
Yeah, he was aggressive. I think if he not retained or not detained, but if he didn't
childlike.
Yeah, if he didn't just sit there and scream and yell the whole fucking time, I think that would have been a better look. I think Biden seemed more composed and more professional and more adult-like. But I'll tell you what, Biden was definitely wearing a wire. I don't know if you saw those fucking photos, but that fool was mic'd up, Jack.
I don't know, man. That's probably keeping him alive, though, whatever that fuck that shit was.
Oh, what, like some Iron Man shit? Hell no, I didn't see no light coming out of his chest.
That's where the baby blood's being pumped into him, bro.
Shit, did you see fucking Mike Pence looking like an Archon? Jesus
Oh, that was
Christ.
last night's debate, but yeah, we'll get into that, too. But right after the debate, man, shit, Trump and his old lady, they ended up getting COVID. I think, I don't know, half the staff of the Trump administration, or what was it?
Oh, a piss ton of them got it. I don't know how many. I didn't keep count.
Man, what are your thoughts on that? You think it's legit, or was it? I don't know. It was pretty fast. Is he still recovering, or he just with that?
Yeah, what's this cocktail he took you're talking about, Way?
I don't know. They were just mentioning some sort of like serum, something different. It's a game changer. Keywords, it's hugely and all that.
The super soldier serum?
Universal soldier.
Dude, that shit's gonna backfire on him. He's gonna come out like the Red Skull, bro.
Well, it was when Desivir something.
But orange skull.
Orange skull, yeah, for real. With that mop top. Hey, well, no, man, it was pretty. Like, yesterday too, the debate on
Kamala Harris and
Mike Pence. I don't know, man. I can't stand that rhetoric, the way the fuck they talk and shit.
No, it's all political stuff. It's all political. They have this. You're right. This way this cadence, this rhetoric, the way they talk, the vernacular they use. They're very, God damn it, I can't think of the word when you're not punctual, but when you pronunciate and you over pronunciate and everything. It's crazy. You can tell that they're putting on a facade, and it's so crazy. These you watch these things and those aren't those real people, right? Whether they're archons or not, that's another debate, okay? Those aren't the people behind the cameras. Let's be honest here. They don't talk that way. They don't fucking act that way. They wouldn't answer those questions if they knew the whole fucking world was watching that way. It's crazy. And I think that's what some people, side note, I think that's what some people got fooled by Obama, because he did seem like the smooth character. He seemed like he was being upfront and honest, but, we fucking got fed the carrot once again.
What's up, Doc? What else is going on, man? You have any current conspiracies going on you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Joel?
None that come to mind right now.
I have this other one, man. I think they're like mummies that were found in Egypt.
Well, it was 3,500 years old, and they chiseled away, and they broke open the sarcophagus of the mummy. They didn't exhume the mummy, but they broke it open, and it was pristine. It was for literally something to be 3,500 years old to literally be that pristine was fucking crazy, dude. It was crazy to see that. Insane.
But this is not the year to be opening shit like that, bro.
Well, it's too late for that, man.
It's bad juju.
It's too late for that. too late. Here's, did you hear that? I don't know who it was. The governor, I think, of New York or some shit said that Jewish people couldn't go to church or some shit. So Orthodox Jews went out in the street and literally, I mean, you'd have to look it up, but a mound of masks they were burning in the streets. I mean, when you think of a bonfire, I think of a bonfire. There were that many masks, and there was crowds of just Orthodox Jews just throwing all their masks and everything in the street and burning it because of Bill de Blasio or whoever the fuck the governor is in New York. I don't follow or keep up with that shit, but I remember reading about that and how they were pissed off.
Cuomo, right?
Maybe you could be correct. I don't know, to be honest. One of the two. They fucked some shit up, and the Orthodox Jews were pissed off, dude. I don't blame them, man. That's fucked up. How are people gonna go to the grocery store if they can't go to church? Jeez Louise. Hey, let me ask you this, Joel.
What's up?
Do you know who Abraxas is?
Who?
Abraxas?
No. What is that?
So, Abraxas is the highest, greatest Archon, okay? He's the one that leads over all the Archons, right? He's in the 365th dimension, right? He has a chicken head and snake legs, and he has a chariot of seahorses that carry him through the universe, where he draws and sucks in negativity from humanoid beings and then encases their soul and damns them to fucking hell, man. And I'll tell you what, I'm not fucking cool with Abraxas, and I need all the young Christian warriors to join my fucking fight to beat all the Archons, dog. So I'm just putting the word out there. If there's anybody that wants to fucking join, fucking Autobots assemble. Let me fucking know, Jack.
Joel,
What's up, man?
You're down for that shit, right?
I don't know. It sounds like some spiritual warfare shit. Sounds interesting.
Oh, dude. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if it'll happen on a spiritual or like a physical level, but I'll tell you what, some shit's gonna pop off and go down. Cause I don't know if a civil war is going on, but something's brewing, man. Something's simmering. I put my ear to the ground. I've got some people out there with some, monocles looking around, some telescopes.
Me and my sister had this conversation as far as like, society and how tempers flare, right? Her theory was like the weather. People in cold climate that live, like, for example, in the East Coast, some more Norwegian, like they have high suicide rates, high fucking violence.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like
Come to
Seattle?
warm weather area, you feel more comfortable, you're more relaxed.
Seattle is like
it's the weather that influences people.
I don't know. There's something there.
Yeah.
Like I read an article that the higher mercury levels go, the more violent people are prone.
Well, if that's the case, then what do you have to say about the Mayan, the Aztecs? They were like close to the equator. That's hot as fuck, and they were savage as fuck, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you explain that way?
I don't know, man. I'm not.
I mean, they were into fucking blood sacrifice and
they were into a lot of shit.
All that, dude. All
tribal warfare.
Oh yeah.
It's bad, man. It's bad. I don't know. I just really am tired of politics being so divisive. I think a lot of people nowadays are unfortunately caught up in the net of politics. And you're either on Team Blue or you're either on Team fucking Red. And it's just so divisive.
What's up with Trump fucking telling us that if he gets reelected, he'll give us our stimulus check, our second stimulus check?
Did he say that?
I think he's dead.
Oh shit, he's got.
But I think he took it back.
Vote.
I think he took it back though.
Oh, well then he doesn't have my vote.
Yeah, fuck him.
Hey, but what do you really think about? Look, like me, I look at there's two types of people, in my opinion, in this world.
Trump,
all right, there's two types of people. There's tacticians and there's strategists. When I see Trump being divisive, you know what I mean, dividing the country, kind of feel like that's gonna backfire somehow. Like instead of working collectively, you know what I mean, instead of coming together, united, what has this division caused? Well, what do you think it might end up like? It might backfire,
Joel, I think you just opened a giant can of worms, my friend. And here's what I mean by that. So when you talk about unity and people coming together. That's what everybody wants, right? But the powers that be, these crazy fucking demonic entities, they want us separate and they want us divided, okay? The best way to control people is to get them to fight against each other, right?
And it's not even a war on race, bro. It's more a war on class. Because if the lower class figures it out and they unite, then they go after the rich. And the rich don't want that. The people who are in charge, the elite, lizard people, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Archons,
Illuminati, fuck them. They do not want us against them. So they rather have us fighting with each other.
right?
And we just got to realize that and wake up. Wake the fuck up and take control of this shit. You know what I mean? Take over.
So they want us to like always be divided, because if we are united, then we can stand up. I mean, think about it. It's so crazy because it's such a cliche thing, but there's power in numbers, and that's so true. And I forgot what the saying is, but like if 1 or like 10% of the population changed its way of thinking, like to the correct way or whatever.
It's 20%.
Yeah, it would.
20%. I remember that.
It would
I remember
change.
that.
It would change the world. It would change the fucking world, and you know.
I mean, you're talking about like the general consensus, you know?
Right. But to be honest with you, bro, like I try to be as optimistic as possible in my life, but I feel like we're past the NPR, the point of no return, right? We're so far and deep in the rabbit hole that it would take a lot of realization to turn around and to climb back out. When humans are so selfish by nature, we don't think about the future, right? You know, we might think about like our kids, but we're not thinking about like our kids, if you know the world even makes it to that. So we don't give a fuck. We live in the fast and the now generation, right? We don't live in the fucking let's think about the future and everything regarding that. We live in the fast food and the fucking, you know, fast internet generation. So we want everything now. We're not worried about the fucking future. So we're just selfish, man, and it's a shame, man. I really wish we could set the world up for the future generation.
Bam.
Well, I mean, throughout history, we've seen those events happen. Usually it takes something like shit to hit the fan. It takes something like a world war or a depression or anything like disasters, anything we've seen throughout history for people to come to that realization. And that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? I believe as us as Americans, we don't appreciate the advances that we have. How technology has made life just like more convenient, as it made it more easy. And I think we lose sight of that. We think of a problem as like, oh, well, someone will invent something to like fix that. That's our like way of thinking of everything. And that doesn't apply when it comes to Corona. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's funny, you know. Oh, dude. I don't mean to jump, but I just had a thought. And I thought about this earlier today.
What if?
And I really don't know what if. Yeah. I don't know if this is related to anything, what the fuck we've been talking about, but I thought about it today, dude. I work in the service industry, right? So I see a lot of different people and I build relationships with my clients, right? But it's bare bones, so to speak. You know, my customers, they don't know all about my life and blah, 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 right? So I have a lot of Trump customers and I have a lot of Biden customers, and they all fucking love me. It's crazy, dude. It blows my mind, because to be honest with you, I'm not on one side of I believe in pedophile cults and lizard people, so I consider myself a fucking centrist, okay? So I don't plant myself in one fucking box. I'm out there in the open, okay? So I don't know if you call it like chameleon, but it's so crazy, dude, because some of these people that are super nice to me, dude, that give me tips and like, Aaron, dude, we're glad you're here. Do you need any water? How are things going? Dude, if I was like, bro, Trump 2020 or like Biden 2020, like they would hate the fuck out of me, dude. If they, you know, if I like, it's so crazy how that shit works, man, how divisive and divided the country is, whether you're on this team or you're on the other fucking team.
You have to tread
man.
lightly, man.
You have to you're walking on eggshells, dog. But what I say, man, if you're dancing on ice, or if you're walking on ice, you might as well dance.
Or go kick rocks, bitch.
Dummies. Conspiracies.